This is the Daily Drop
Damn, son, where'd you find this?
with Addy and ShrimpZoo. From Daddy and Addy talking geopolitics, science, and anything and everything under the sun. Every weekday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And now, here's your hosts, ShrimpZoo and Addy.
What is up, people? This is the Daily Drop. It's the Friday Roundup with ShrimpZoo and Adakin. It is Friday, September the 4th of the year 2020, the craziest year in most of our lives. And we're just doing a recap of all the stuff that has been going on this week, plus news stories that have been going on as well. Apparently a new puzzling virus, according to RT, found in Brazil. I'm not sure what that's about. Former PM of Italy has been hospitalized with COVID as well, Berlusconi. And all that we talked about yesterday as well with Thai and Bulgaria anti-government protests going on too. And the activist, Thai activist that was imprisoned. I believe he's a reporter too, that kind of sparked all of that. And Pelosi's hair situation at the salon as well made headlines. People are still talking about that too. And I don't know if you had anything on your docket that you wanted to get to today, Shrimp, but I know you are heading out to Rochester very soon to get boots on the ground as far as the protesting that will be going on there and rioting that you kind of are having some foresight on as far as what's going to happen there with the death of Daniel Prude is his name, correct?
Yeah, so there's been rioting and I don't know if I call it rioting, but there's been protesting there for about a week now. The protests and rioting usually escalate on the weekend, so I think tonight will be pretty wild in Rochester, and I'm gonna film it. Live stream from there.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, we'll be looking forward to that trip, and please do stay safe, brother, because I know things can get crazy there. I watched some of your video last night after we chatted. Are you gonna wear the hazmat suit?
I mean, I have one. I'm thinking about it. The only thing is, it will probably be super hot in there in the hazmat suit. I don't know. Right. I'll stick out like a sore thumb too.
Yeah. Do you have any ideas what you might wear, or are you just gonna go, a game time decision type thing?
Like I have this mask. I'm probably not gonna wear that though. I think I'm just gonna wear like a P100 type mask or an N95. Probably something with the respirator.
Okay, let's talk about masks because I know you have a couple, Shrimp. What is we all know what an N95 is. What's a P100 mask?
P100. There we go. Like that one right up there. Those are replaced. 100 basically just is a higher level of filtration N95 the surgeon and help with tear gas and pepper spray. And you want to filter out a virus, that N95 is not really going to work for most viruses.
Okay, so P100 has a higher level of filtration, and it's because N95s are disposable, right? After a while. Do you hear that, Shrimp?
Yep.
Yeah, they are. Okay, so how much is the P100? How much do you pay for that? Because that's not disposable, right?
Yeah, like these filters, they last like, for a virus, they would maybe last years. If you're using them for like painting or drywall, they're only going to last a few times. It depends really. Like it depends on COVID really. I bought all this stuff before COVID was an issue, but these filters might cost anywhere from $20 to $100. Normally, they'd probably cost $10. If you want a P100 mask, you're probably looking at $30 to $100. If you get one for 30, you're probably pretty lucky.
Okay. And those are replacement filters, right? Those 3M, you have to replace them every so often.
Yeah, those are replacement filters
Okay.
for that guy.
Okay. Do you have any other ones like a gas mask, or because I was actually looking into gas masks last year, believe it or not. I didn't buy one, unfortunately, but I was doing a bit of research on them.
Like here's another P100. If they have charcoal and stuff in them, then that means that they'll be good for chemical filtration, like riot situation. Here's another respirator that I have. This is a N95. It's not going to filter out any chemicals, just a virus. I have hundreds of masks, really. I just been collecting them.
And then you got your standard, just kind of basic disposable one there. Do you know what that one is called?
This is just like a dust mask right here, or mold, or you could call it a molded surgical mask. It's probably one step above the regular surgical mask because it fits better.
Yeah, it kind of forms to your face a little better.
Yeah, I'm pro mask, but I mean, I don't think there should be a law for mask. Maybe on like a plane or something like that, or maybe government buildings or dentist office. But I think it's up to people what level of protection they want to use.
Yeah, speaking of that, I think it was actually the guy who killed bin Laden, or one of the SEAL Team 6 dudes. He took a selfie on, I want to say it was American Airlines flight without a mask on, and he got in like trouble for it. Like, I don't know if he got banned from American Airlines or what the deal was exactly, but yeah, when I flew Delta. I always try to fly Delta. Not to sound like a snob or anything, because they are a little more expensive than United, but United I don't really have a good time on. But when I did fly Delta, back from the PNW, we had to wear it unless we were eating or drinking. I
mean, then that pretty much cancels out the whole thing of wearing a mask in the first place if you take it off for half an hour. I've also heard that airplanes it's like there's only a few people that have ever gotten it on an airplane because they have advanced air filtration.
They have very good air filtration on airplanes, yeah. I mean, there's a reason you don't smell a whole lot of BO when you're on an airplane, even though there's certainly people who don't take care of themselves on there. But that being said, too, the plane was only like a third filled, and it was a regular size, a 747. So that definitely affected it too. And they were more strict that I could see on the plane itself than on the terminal or by the gate.
Yeah, for me, I would probably airplane would maybe be the only place I would require them or something similar. If you on first place, I guess I don't really care anymore. I just wear a mask to the grocery store. Really, that's probably it.
Yeah, I just have a cotton one I wear that I bought off. I bought it off Etsy for like $10 or $12. It was actually customizable too. So I got "End the Police State." I'll take a picture and post it my community posting on YouTube if you want to check it out. But yeah, I do want to get. I want to invest in like a nice gas mask too at some point. Whether that's
for prepping COVID or the like protest, which one do you want the gas mask for?
I would say for the first two reasons, for like prepping / COVID, yeah, just general prepping too, because I think it's a good idea to have one, don't you? To have a gas mask.
I do, but as time goes on, I'm becoming like less of a mask like promoter, just because it's like, do you think you can go from now till the day you die without getting the flu again?
I'm sure that's not going to happen.
So it's probably not going to happen with COVID either. I'm almost to the
Probably
point.
not.
I'm almost to the point in the back of my mind where I want to make a video where I try to get COVID. Because I don't think I'm going to go my whole life without getting a flu again. I don't think it's
Yeah.
possible.
But you got your autoimmune disorder too, right, Shrimp?
Yeah, but I mean, I can only live like this for a certain amount of time. Like I'm not gonna wear a mask outside or to the park. I'm not gonna. I think a lot of people think I'm always wearing this because I wear it for the videos, but it's really only at a grocery store. My friends don't wear a mask. Nobody else wears a mask if I interact with other people. In my town, most people don't wear them. Yeah, I think you should be careful, but it's also you should be realistic too, because you're you're probably everyone in the world's probably gonna get COVID.
You think so?
Yeah, I think it's here forever. I think it's
Oh yeah.
the
You're gonna die.
possibility of solving COVID is the same as solving the regular flu and trying to do lockdowns and vaccines to get rid of the regular flu. It's not
Well,
possible.
I think at this point, I mean, maybe I shouldn't say that. It's not the regular flu. It is a new thing, right? And there's a lot of fear that comes with that, even in the medical community.
Yeah.
But it does have a very high survival rate, as we know. Less than 1% of people perish, mostly old males or obese people or people with comorbidities, right? As you mentioned before. But yeah, I agree, man. I think it's unrealistic that's why my deal is like we should just end the lockdown, because it's like the virus has attenuated quite a bit, I think.
Yeah. It's like trying to lock down all of Kenya or like all of Africa or something to solve Ebola. Like doing that now. Just I guess I'm pro lockdown. I'm really pro lockdown, but you have to do it in the first few days when you discover the virus. And
That's what I said in March,
yep,
dude. I was like, dude, there's no halfway pregnant on this. We have to shut down the borders right now, like Japan did.
yeah.
And look
New,
at Japan;
news,
they're doing just fine. They didn't shut their economy down at all. But of course,
yeah.
we didn't do that because the bureaucracy, red tape, politics in general. I don't know exactly what the reason for that was. Maybe they wanted the virus to come in and kill people. I don't know.
The
But
pushback at the time seemed to be that it would be racist to seal the borders off. That's
yeah,
was
I figured it was something along those lines, and Trump didn't want to uh, I don't
Biden
know.
was Biden was calling out Trump. He was calling them xenophobic for shutting the borders down to Italy
It's
and
just
to
so
China.
hypocritical for the Democrats to do that and then blame Trump for how bad our rates have gotten. It's like, weren't you guys the ones who didn't want the borders closed? Because that was that was what we should have done in March.
Yeah,
Don't,
we just
don't you
don't.
think that's hypocritical?
Yeah, it is, but nobody calls it out because the Democrats are now like the pro COVID party now. So it doesn't. They're not going to call themselves out.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is we can't have short memories on these types of things, whether it's the WHO and the government really saying that we don't need masks. I think that was Fauci, right? Uh,
Yeah.
Basically, don't go buy masks. Basically, as far as I could tell, because they didn't have enough, they weren't prepared.
Yep. The Surgeon General went on the View and he went
Yep.
on Twitter. He went on this whole crazy TV campaign to say masks don't work, don't use them, don't buy them. We're too stupid to even know how to use a mask because we'll touch them and we'll contaminate them and we'll get COVID just by using the mask. And the
Yeah.
American public are idiots. They wouldn't understand how to wear a mask. It's too complicated.
God.
Yeah, and then the Democrats all said that, and then they say, "Oh, look at these idiot white supremacist mega supporters. They're all idiots because they don't wear a mask." But they're the people that told them not to wear a mask.
Yeah, and I just want people to not forget that. And
I feel
I
like
don't
it's
know.
forgotten. I feel like they did.
I mean, the Americans, they have such, I wouldn't say you and I, Shrimp, but we collectively have such a short memory span, right? We're like goldfish, It's like whatever the new thing is, the new panic on mainstream media. That's what the lemmings, as some people call them, that's what they listen to, and they just forget that there was this huge self-contradiction coming from the Surgeon General. What's his name? God, he just annoys me, man. Jerome Adams.
Oh yeah, he annoys me too. I think
My goodness.
he should be fired, in my opinion. He
He
lied to
should
the
be
American public.
court-martialed if we're on a military footing, as Millie said back in, I want to say, April. Yeah, because I mean, they're the ones responsible for that. Jerome Adams has blood on his hands.
Yeah, I
And,
think so. Yeah, he's
I
one
don't
of
know.
he's going to go down in the history books in 100 years. People are going to be saying he's an idiot.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I think so. And then you got, I don't know if you saw this too, but I think it was like $65 million was cut in funding by the U.S. To the WHO earlier this week, which is, I think, enough that they did, which I am way behind. I am so behind that. I don't trust the WHO at all.
Yeah, it's sad because like in theory, I would support the WHO, but in reality, they can't be trusted, it seems.
Yeah, and I was talking to this guy George from Ireland about this earlier this week, which I don't think our chat saved. We only chatted for about 20 minutes, but he couldn't get StreamYard to work, so we're using Skype, and I don't know, my program, I don't know where the file went, but he was saying that his reasoning is the WHO is not a single centralized government, so he trusts them more because of that, which I think makes sense hypothetically. But like you said, in reality, it's not the case.
No, because they're ruled by money.
Right. And the globalists, which is,
Yeah.
they're both
And
hand in hand, that money and the globalists, I think.
it's all ideology too. They want to promote the quickest vaccine. Doesn't matter if it's safe. They don't want it to be tested. They're gonna do whatever China tells them to do. They're never gonna blame China for the virus.
Yeah. Even though now they're partying, China, having pool parties in Wuhan, with despite the fact that they had this huge lockdown, welding people into apartments and whatnot.
Yeah, it's still a huge mystery to me because nobody really still knows really what happened in Wuhan.
Yeah,
To
it's
me,
like North Korea too. It's like you can't really trust a whole lot of what's coming out of there, source wise.
yeah, I think it's a biological weapon leak that's probably mutated a lot already.
Do you think that they meant for it to be more deadly than it is?
I think they're messing around with the gain of function on the virus, and I guess if you do that, it can lead to it mutating rapidly. I don't think they meant for it to leak, but I think it just got out there, and then
I agree.
I think China was like, dude, we're not dealing with this on our own. It's going to destroy us. We're going to be so
Yeah.
weak compared to Russia and America and Germany and Brazil. We're going to let this out.
Mm-hmm.
And a few days after China knew about it, they sent like 100+ delegation to the White House itself. I don't think China meant for it to be released, but in a way, it's a biological weapons program, I think, and they're messing around with it. I don't know why, but I think they purposely let it leak from their borders so that the world economy would be destroyed and they would have a better position worldwide. They used it unintentionally as a weapon against America and the world, I think.
Yeah, I agree, Shrimp. I think it was. I mean, it seems to me it was an accident, just based on how they reacted and other governments too. It seemed, but then after the fact, they took advantage of it, like you said. They let it spread.
I mean, what they did building those huge hospitals so fast, and it seems like they had mask and supplies set up well before the world even knew this virus existed. It seems like it's been going on for longer, and it seems like at times it's been more deadly, like in Iran, originally in Wuhan,
Right.
in Italy.
Italy, and Ecuador too. I don't know if you remember that. There were bodies in
Yeah.
the streets,
Yeah, I made some videos on that. There's bodies everywhere.
and they would just like burn them. They would just like burn the bodies in the streets. And in Italy too, they would. It was like literally like one of these pandemic films where you wouldn't see your family member, they would die, and then they would just bring the body, and burn the body.
Yeah.
But
Italy and Spain had so many deaths. It seems like it was a different strain or a different mutation.
yeah, I think the European strain was much more deadly. That was the one that got to the East Coast. But like I said, I do think it has attenuated because the virus wants to live with the host, right? It doesn't want to kill the host. But when it's a foreign virus that our bodies have never collectively encountered before, it just doesn't know how to react to it. Right? And I think that's why it shocked the human body so much over there.
Maybe that would be the common sense, but like why there are deadly viruses like TB and Ebola and stuff. Those aren't mutating to be less deadly. I'm not sure.
I want to look more into the science, Shrimp, and we should have just a strictly science show next week after we both do some research. I think, just talking about it because like you said, like Ebola doesn't I think it's in maybe the nature of that particular virus too, though, how it just causes hemorrhaging within the body. That's a scary virus, but fortunately, it's not very contagious. Likewise with HIV, is not very contagious. But George thinks they've been trying to aerosolize HIV for half a century now to be used as a biological weapon. But I was just so the impression was quite great on me when I was reading about that battle. I can't remember the name of the battle during World War I, but it was when the Germans used it against the French, and they created this huge salient in the French lines, and to the point where they didn't even realize how big the salient was. They could have pushed forward, I think it was like 2 towns, but they only went to the 1 town, but they pushed forward more because the French were just decimated by this virus. And these guys, their faces and their skin would turn black within minutes from it was chlorine gas they used, this type of chlorine gas. That was the weapon the Germans used, and that also left an impression on the Japanese to make, I think it was Task Force 741 or Unit 741, I think it was, when they made their biological weapons too. And then after the war, of course, the U.S. granted immunity to those the Axis powers who those units, right? Who are in charge of the bioweapons, not only for the Japanese, but the Nazis as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure that some countries should have biolabs. It seems like China really can't be trusted with one. And like, I guess France built the lab in Wuhan. Why did France do that? It all seems like it's such a huge mistake now looking back at it.
Yeah. It was the Battle of Ypres, Ypres. I'm not really sure how to pronounce that. Ypres, Belgian city, between the Allies, Belgian, French, British, and Canadians, and then the Central Powers. It was the second Battle of Ypres, first mass use of bioweapons and poison gas. So it's crazy how war evolves like that. But I don't know. It does seem like it has been called before, as I've mentioned, the high ground of warfare now, bioweapons, because it's it's such a,
I think so.
You can't see it, you can't really smell it. It's not like tanks coming at you, which you can see and hear very clearly.
Yeah, it's worse than nuclear weapons, I think.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, if just one city was nuclear bombed in America, it would have been way less worse than all of this. They say there's almost 200,000 deaths so far in America.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you go on that path, there'll probably be 500,000 by the year's end. By next year, 2 million.
Yeah. So if it does get to 1 million, or it's 1 in 300 people, 500,000, 1 in 600 people in the U.S., more or less about. So yeah, but again, I only know the one person who has somebody that has died from it. I still think it's dangerous to those demographics, but I don't know. I'm very interested to see how the election is going to affect this whole situation. Dr. Stella Emanuel, the Houston doctor, the black woman who made headlines, was that like 2 months ago now, or maybe a month and a half ago? She said that she tweeted people should stock up and get ready for the election because she thinks that Trump's going to win. And after that, there's going to be a huge influx of riots and civil unrest. So
Yeah,
before
I
then,
agree.
people get ready for that. Yeah. What do you think people should do, Shrimp? What would your recommendations be for people?
I mean, I'm not the best prepper. I think everybody's kind of turned a little bit into a prepper since this has happened, but getting stuff like peanut butter, canned soup, dry goods, stuff that will last 10, 20 years if you can. I don't think it's going to get that severe, but you should have food. Food and water is the most important thing. Shelter. You should have a bug out bag, I think, with a gun or a knife and some food and like something like that in your bag. A quick bag that you can just grab and leave your house if you have to. I think everybody should have a gun for self-defense or hunting. You should have a good knife. You should have an axe if you're in the country and you have wood burning stove, a good axe or two in case utilities run out. Stock up on water in case the water runs out. If you could have solar panels, solar generator. Those are all
Yeah.
pretty like extreme situations that we might not encounter. I think food though, and I do think inflation is coming if you can do something with your money. Buying
Yeah.
food now is going to be better than buying it in 6 months. It might be twice the cost as it is now. If you know
Yeah.
you need a new car, it's better to buy it now than probably next year.
What about gasoline?
What do you like storing it or something?
Yeah, what would you think about that? Like buying, because it's very cheap right now where I live. It's 196 a gallon.
Oh, that is really cheap.
What is it where you are, Shrimp?
I think it's like $2 around there or
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's always I like to always have my car on full and gas right now just because of all the rioting and stuff. I doubt that we'll ever reach the suburbs where I am, but just a precaution.
Do you have any ideas or thoughts or opinions on storing gasoline?
No, I haven't really got into storing gasoline at all. I
Hmm.
mean, I have like 5 gallons of gas in my garage, but other than that, it's probably smart to have a few
A little bit.
gallons of in your
Yeah.
car or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
these are all like doomsday scenarios, really, though, that we're talking about. I do think it's really smart to have a bug out bag with just like some light equipment if you have to leave your house, though.
Hmm. Yeah. You mentioned an axe, or yeah, something to chop wood with. There's this book that I can't remember if I was made to read it or I just picked it up, but I read it in middle school. It's by Gary Paulson. It's called Hatchet. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's about this boy who uh, gets a flight in like a biplane
Yeah.
to somewhere in Canada. I think it's to visit his father, and the plane crashes and the pilot dies. And all he has is a hatchet, and he has to survive in the Canadian wilderness with just a hatchet. And that's obviously it's a fiction book, but it's all he needed for that. But yeah, and then I remember he doesn't realize it, but there's an emergency kit in the plane, so he swims to the lake. Is like the plane crashed into a lake, so he swims down. After months, he's like, oh shit, there's probably an emergency bag in there. He swims down and he cuts the bag off, and so he has all this food and supplies that he didn't realize he could have accessed right away. But yeah, even buying something like that, I think, because you can buy, you know, pre-made kind of bag or emergency bags like that, maybe with some MREs, meals ready to eat, which are military style meals as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like the show, Shrimp. We kind of went to like a prepper mask topic as opposed to current events.
Yeah,
So
I think
that was
I
cool.
think it's useful right now though. I think everybody should have a little bit of like prepping skills.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Please hit that like and subscribe button. If you don't do it, we're all gonna die. Shrimp and I are.
So,
I'm stealing your line there, Shrimp. And yeah, go and subscribe to ShrimpZoo on YouTube as well.
and subscribe to Addy's channel.
Please do. Check me out on Facebook. Check me and Shrimp out on Twitter as well. And check out our podcast channel as well, which this will be on there posted as well. We're streaming every single day, and we're going to get a longer show on Sundays as well. And next week, like I said, we're gonna have like maybe at least 1 or 2 science shows where we just go into the virus a little more scientifically, and be on the lookout for that too. So stay frosty, folks. All the best, and until next time.